As a safety precaution, please be advised that the following instructions should only be conducted by an adult. The following instructional video is meant to assist customers with troubleshooting common problems that can occur with the paper shredder. If your paper shredder will only run in reverse, but will not run in auto, or if your shredder is only shredding to one side of the feeding slot, then you could be experiencing a paper jam. There is a trigger sensor that controls the automatic setting, and the shredder will not start running unless the sensor is triggered by your paper. To remove the jam, first locate the jam in the feeding slot. Because the feeding slot is very narrow, the jam can sometimes be difficult to see. Try tilting the shredder toward or away from you to get a better visual down into the feeding slot. If your paper shredder has the Shred Safe feature, push to open the safe flap further in order to get a better look down into the feeding slot. To remove the paper jam, use a long flat tool such as a letter opener, a butter knife, or a pair of 5-inch long nose pliers. Make sure the shredder is turned off or unplugged while using a tool to remove a paper jam. Insert the butter knife or letter opener down into the feeding slot from the top. Attempt to get underneath the jam and lift the jam up and then out of the feeding slot. To use a pair of 5-inch pliers, insert the pliers into the middle of the feeding slot and attempt to grab the paper jam and pull it up and out of the feeding slot from the top. If the jam proves to be too difficult to remove using a tool, you may need to forcefully trigger the auto sensor and push the paper jam through the feeding slot instead of trying to pick it out. To trigger the sensor and clear a possible paper jam, find a greeting card like a birthday card or some other form of cardstock, as well as some shredder oil. Apply shredder oil across the paper entry 2 to 3 times. Then wait 30 minutes to allow the oil to saturate the paper. After that time, plug the shredder into a working wall outlet and turn the power switch to auto. Then take your cardstock, insert it into the middle of the feeding slot, and push down as hard as you can. If the shredder accepts the cardstock and shreds it, then you have successfully cleared the paper jam. If your shredder is only shredding on one side of the feeding slot, then you are experiencing a paper jam on the opposite side. First attempt to remove the jam using one of the tools mentioned previously. If that does not work, proceed to drizzle shredder oil on the side that is jammed. You'll need a larger piece of cardstock, for example, half of a manila filing folder, which is wide enough to trigger the auto sensor in the middle and extend out only to the side that is jammed. Insert the cardstock only on the side that is jammed and push down as hard as you possibly can. If the shredder accepts the cardstock and shreds it, then you have successfully cleared the jam. If this does not help and your problem persists, please call our customer service center at 1-800-327-8508 for further assistance.